saving the best for last. And I'm not necessarily talking about our speakers right now. I'm talking about Charles Darwin, because 200 years ago, he saved the Azores for his last stop almost 200 years ago. So to tell us about the Darwin200 project, please welcome Stewart McPherson.
Well, it's a great pleasure to speak to you tonight. My name is Stewart McPherson, and my project is called Darwin200. We're 1 year through a 2-year voyage. Very briefly, just so you know my background, I'm from the UK. I spent 20 years climbing about 200 mountains to write 30 books on carnivorous plants, and I named about 30 new species of them. Along the way, I saw incredible destruction in those habitats that I explored. So Darwin200, in a way, is the result of that. It's been 10 years in the making, and we're taking this beautiful, historic 107-year-old tall ship called Oosterschelde around the world following the journey of Charles Darwin. And as Richard very kindly mentioned, these beautiful islands that we're here today, this was the very last stop of Darwin's journey of 5 years on HMS Beagle as it sailed around the world. Our journey isn't exactly the same as the voyage of the Beagle. We tried to make it as faithful as we could. We go to every major port that Darwin went to. We're doing it in 2 years. The real voyage was 5 years. And we have one very simple objective, which is to try and change the world of tomorrow. We're honored beyond words to have 3 incredible people as our project patrons and key supporters, Dr. Jane Goodall, Dr. Sylvia Earle, and Dr. Sarah Darwin, Charles Darwin's great-great-granddaughter. And the whole essence of what we're trying to do is drive a wave of change to make a better world of tomorrow. In the words of Jane Goodall, I think can put it better than anyone, every single person matters, and every person can make a difference and can change the world. We hear non-stop about the problems of the planet, and of course, there are immense problems, but the other side of that coin is that some of the problems that we see in the world are solvable. Forests can be rebuilt. Endangered species can often be brought back from the cliff of extinction. So what we're doing is creating 200 incredible young conservationists, 200 drivers of change. They're called Darwin leaders. We're trying to make 200 new Jane Goodalls. And for the next 50 years, over the course of their lives, we hope that they will be the part of the change to make the world a better place. So 200 young people, 50 years, 10,000 years of work. That's our motto. To explain very quickly what we're doing, so the Darwin leaders, this is our first objective, and why it's called Darwin200, because we're trying to create 200 of these. We select them from different countries around the world. We've had about 50 countries represented to date, and we bring them to the ports where Charles Darwin visited and undertook his studies. We partner them with amazing local conservation groups, and they undertake a life-changing program of basically work in the field. They're embedded in real conservation projects and get real experience. It's a bit like an exchange. So people from the Azores might go to the Galapagos and learn about the work in the Galapagos, and vice versa. So it's like an exchange of knowledge. And each Darwin leader has to do 3 key objectives. They work unbelievably hard during their time on the ship in the ports. They have to take an animal or plant that Charles Darwin studied that's endangered and look at the past, the present, and the future. They have to look at what's happened and why it's endangered, what's gone wrong, and what are the threats and the reasons to that subject. Their next objective is to look at the current work, the present, and is it enough? Is it working? And of course, it's a bit of a loaded question because in almost all cases, it isn't enough and more work is needed. But they have to evaluate that and understand that. Then most importantly of all, they have to look to the future and use their brains to go and do research, do investigations, to go and do interviews with local people and work out new strategies and new solutions to solve those problems and make a better future for that animal and plant that they're studying. What we've heard in all of the presentations this morning is the importance of communication. So in addition to training and upskilling and empowering these incredible young people, their mission is also to broadcast their messages to millions of people around the world. And to do that, they have to make 3 films, 3 photo essays, and 3 reports. So it's pretty intense. We give them a professional camera operator for each Darwin leader, and then unleash them and let them develop their project. This isn't school, this isn't university. It's a wonderful opportunity for them to then open and develop and explore their subject and work 30 hours a day to make their goals achieved in the limited time. And we deliberately leave them alone then and let them undertake it with their local partners and local experts. I haven't got time to tell you about all the projects we've had so far. We've had a rainbow from endemic plants to sea turtles to octopus and squid, to a whole range of amazing projects. This is one off the coast of Peru, looking at the sustainable octopus fishery and how the populations can be better conserved. Or from the swamps, also in Peru actually, and looking at endemic orchids. You can see all the projects on our website, Darwin200.com. They basically use the ship as a floating laboratory and media platform. We've had a few really standout projects. On Cape Verde, for example, one of the Darwin leader teams with their local experts rediscovered a lost species of gecko that was thought to be extinct, and many, many other projects along those lines. In each port, we try and do a range of mammals, invertebrates, plants, amphibians. It's not perfect. In each port, it's different. In some ports, there are no amphibians, for example, in remote islands, like the Galapagos, for example. But each port is different, and we try and do as broad a variety as we possibly can. Our second objective is that every single week we beam out live to schools around the world in partnership with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. I think all of you know Joe Grabowski, a longtime friend of the Explorers Club, and we've been doing this now for nearly a year. Every single week we beam out with Joe and his amazing team and have reached schools from Papua New Guinea to Australia to the US and beyond. Every single week we have a new experiment, a new activity. We have prizes, we have Kahoots quizzes to try and make science really fun and exciting. And I do all these little experiment segments once a week covering these. And Joe beams live to a different conservationist in the field. He was just with us actually in Galapagos, so he did the ones out there. But some weeks it's in Madagascar, some weeks it's in Antarctica, and everywhere in between. So we're really trying hard to make science exciting and interesting. And of course, look back at Darwin's incredible voyage that changed the world. So we in every port that we go to, we link live to the ship and then look at what we're doing in the ports and recreate some of Darwin's journeys. So for example, in Galapagos, we went to Bartolome, this amazing island, and look at his discoveries in the field. Look at the amazing observations and findings that he undertook. As the ship moves around the world, we're also doing a whole range of research projects and beaming them out to audiences around the world. We're doing a worldwide seabird survey and a cetacean and pinniped survey, so looking for seabirds, whales, dolphins, sea lions, and seals. I think we're over 400 species of birds so far. We're also doing special projects in some of the ports that we visit. For example, in Rio de Janeiro, we mobilized about 1,000 local school kids and planted 2,500 trees to make a corridor between 2 nature reserves. And it was really wonderful. We got all the kids really engaged and also ran a Kickstarter campaign in parallel and raised a load more money on top for the partners out there. We're also we've got an ROV submersible on the ship, and we dropped it off with 2 marine biologists on the way down to Uruguay and explored a completely undocumented seamount system. It was the absolute first time that anyone had even surveyed and seen what was on this system. So it was really important, and it's now in the process of being set up as a reserve. So that's some of the research projects that we're doing. We've got 8 other ones, but not time to really go through them all today. But as the ship moves around the world, we're trying to use it as a platform to engage people. And I guess most importantly of all, we're trying to engage the communities that we visit. This theme has come up again and again in all of the talks today. So in every single port that we go to, we engage with thousands of children and schools and try and bring them on the ship or bring them to events. For example, in the Museum of Tomorrow in Rio de Janeiro, we had a lovely event, and we had segments from Jane and Sylvia, and we also bring in young people from the cities. For example, in Rio de Janeiro, these lovely 8 young people from the favelas sailed from Rio to Uruguay, and then we brought them back. So we're trying to make it as interactive and as engaging as we possibly can, and also worldwide competitions. This little boy was a winner of a competition to draw artwork about Darwin. So we flew him and his parents to the Galapagos, and he'd never even been on a plane before. So it just opened up new horizons for him. So that's a little overview of what we're doing, but I wanted to basically end my talk on a call to action. So we are only halfway through this voyage. We'd love all of you to be part of this voyage. Obviously, today we've heard some incredible projects and some incredible research activities. The whole point of Darwin200 is that it's really interactive. We want people to sail on the ship, youth groups from around the world. We've had about 80 of our 200 Darwin Leader projects. So we're specifically looking for amazing young people to change the world. So if you know elite, exceptional, people just born with the passion to make a difference. And this is the wonderful thing. You don't have to read application forms. You don't have to go through CVs. You know exactly who they are. They stand out. They shine. They're incandescent. So those are the young people we're looking for. We want to give them the opportunity to help go hone their skills, get real experience, get real field work, then go back to their home countries and pursue their passions to change the world of tomorrow. So that's one element that I'm looking for. The other is that projects in the ports that we're visiting. So if you have projects in any of the locations or countries we're going to, we'd love to work together and help drive this for tomorrow. As was mentioned by Richard at the start, the ship is going to be here next year. Darwin was here in September 1836. We're going to arrive here on the 30th of June next year. So if anyone is here, we'd love to welcome you onto the ship. We can show you the projects, and we're planning 10 Darwin Leader projects here in this beautiful archipelago. So thank you so much for listening to me today, and we really hope you'll be part of Darwin200 and help change the world of tomorrow. So thank you very much. Thank you.